our team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
Happy 4th into the new year, a.k.a. Your resolution's probably already out the window. Anyways, welcome to another Energy Condors connection. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Other side of the split screen is Ryan Holt from the Biggest Condors. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. At what point do you stop saying Happy New Year?
I think this is the last one we'll say it on these broadcasts.
This is it. All right. Happy New Year.
Yeah, I said it yesterday on Pet Connection. I had to do it today. So, you do the first one and then you let it die.
Yeah, it's like, Happy New Year. You're like, it's like you won something.
Congratulations. You got to buy a new calendar. You're so awesome.
From Sunday to Monday. Congrats, everybody.
First of all, I got to check in on you because I heard you had quite the adventure at the end of last year. Are you good?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all good. Yeah, I fell on a skate blade and had a little hand injury. But thankfully, I'm all right. I got zipped up and thankfully we have a great medical staff, and they were at the Christmas party when I fell. So
yeah, that I actually saw a picture of how they commemorated your experience.
Yeah, they outlined me on the stairs, and this was all while I was getting stitched, by the way. So it just kind of shows you how tight we are here in CondorsTown, that everyone's laughing while my hand is being stitched up pretty well, by the way. But yeah, Doc wasn't too pleased that he had to come in from his couch, but I'll get him a bottle of wine and he'll be okay.
I did stop myself from posting a picture of the outline, but
yeah, it was kind of scary in the moment. Obviously, I mean, anytime there's a skate blade involved in your hand, but yeah, thankfully our Josh Bennett, our trainer, was there, and I just got the stitches out the other day, so everything looks good. Hand's still attached, so we'll take it.
Well, Happy New Year to you, my friend. Hope you had a great Christmas. Let's jump into all things we talk. And, of course, we always talk about the parent organization first, which is having just an awful time. Just, it's pretty miserable. Winning 6 in a row. I
remember back in October, there was a lot of Ducks talk and a lot of Oilers chatter.
Oh, there is no Ducks talk right now. Trust me.
I don't know. We sent a whole, we cherry-picked a bus trip for our Condors 365 members, our season ticket holders, and they all went down on Sunday to see the Oilers versus the Ducks, and thought actually that the Ducks might be catching the Oilers after a tough game in LA, kind of a physical game. You're kind of facing the team at the end of a road trip, and the Oilers didn't take it easy on them. So, nope. The Oilers are rolling. The offense is clicking on all cylinders. The goaltending's been good. Stuart Skinner's been good. Calvin Pickard's come in and won 3 games for the Oilers as well too. I talked with Cal earlier this week. He was able to see his family because they're still here in Bakersfield this week. So they kind of follow him around with the road trip, but they still go to more Condors games than Oilers games. So it's fun. It's a good time to be in the organization. They're playing the way they should be playing. They're getting to their spot in the division. I mean, it's going to be tough to catch Vegas, and Vancouver is still kind of hanging around, but I think, they're right in the mix, and things are where they need to be going into the new year.
Let's talk about that because they were swirling down in the bottom back when we first started the season. Now they're 4th in the Pacific. Looking at their schedule, there's a lot of holes in January, though. Is that a concern? Is like maybe you got to get some more points in your system?
Yeah, well, I think it's, there's going to be stretches, and they pick up in February, I think, where, the NHL is, heavy or light. I mean, it's everyone. I mean, everyone's going to have their runs, right? I mean, we were light to start the season ourselves, and, now we're really heavy here going into the new year. So, for Edmonton, I think it's just, about continuing to play the way they have been. And again, I think if you're going to have the start that they had, better to have that at the beginning of the year.
Right.
I'm no mathematician, but if your denominator, and what I mean by that is points available remaining, if your denominator is higher, that means that you're going to have more of an opportunity to have an impact. So when that denominator gets lower, which it does at the later portions of the year, it's hard to come back. If you have a 7-game losing streak right now, it's a lot more impactful, I think, than if you lost 7 to start the season. I really do believe that. And, they had a lot of runway left. They knew they did, but they knew they had to play to their potential. And, now they're playing to their potential.
Let's talk about the Pacific because obviously, like I said, they were swirling down the bottom. Now they're fourth. Let's talk about the other teams that are playing up there. I mean, we got the Kraken who have won 5. Edmonton's won 6. You got Vancouver, which was kind of that weirdness that we didn't expect to be as strong as they are this year. But you also have the Golden Knights and the Kings that are above them, but they're kind of meandering about 500 right now. What are you seeing right now is what they need to do to like move their places up?
Yeah, the Golden Knights are, they're the reigning Pacific champs and reigning Stanley Cup champs, and you're going to have to go through them, I think, at some point. LA is a playoff contender; they're a team that can win the Pacific, and I think the Oilers are 3. Vancouver, is kind of been lucky a little bit. So I wonder if that's bubble's going to burst at some point. But at some point, you look at it and go, maybe they just are who we didn't think they were. So
I mean, if they're at 7-1-2 in their last 10, I mean, you can't really necessarily
no, exactly.
Yeah,
they've found a way to get it done. They haven't had they've had great goaltending, which has certainly covered up, I think, a little bit of their deficiencies. But hey, I mean, the goaltender is part of the team too. So you're allowed to have a great goaltender, and they've gotten that this season. So yeah, I think those are the 4 teams. I don't think Seattle's in the mix here. They're on a nice run, but I don't think they're in the mix overall. But at the end of the day, the Central is so much better right now than the Pacific. So you got to kind of watch out because that 4th spot isn't necessarily guaranteed to be in the playoffs. It could be the 5th team from the Central Division. So I think the Oilers are in an okay spot moving forward. But yeah, the Central has probably 6 or 7 teams that are kind of looking around going, hey, we're playoff teams too.
It's going to be interesting to watch as the season moves on because it definitely did not have the start we expected. And I think this is probably one of the seasons where we're like, we kind of don't know how anything's going to end up this year.
And I just came up with this, but what it kind of reminds me of is an F1 race where, Max Verstappen is given like a 10-place penalty and has to start like 13th, where he's usually starting first. And you have like this great car and he always wins races, but he's got to kind of come through the pack. That's kind of the Oilers right now. They got to kind of come through the pack. They're going to get up to the front, but they got to kind of come through the pack. So it's made things interesting. You're right.
Definitely going to be interesting to watch. Let's go and jump into what we talked about as well, which is the local team, which of course would be the, that Condor thing, the Baco Birds, as I like to call them. Amazing win last night. I mean, it was kind of those where we expected just like, this is not going to be our night, but all of a sudden rallying with 3 goals in the third, winning in the shootout, or AKA the skills competition. What were you seeing out there?
Yeah, crazy game last night. Fun game to call. We trailed by 5-2 score with 9 minutes left, and you win 1 out of every 50 of those. Honestly, like if you win 1 out of those a season, you're doing something right. And yeah, it was big. Raphael Lavoie had 2 assists. Lane Peterson scored twice. Ollie Rodriguez came up with some big saves late to just keep it at 5. Like, I mean, hey, let's just keep it at 5 and let's hope. And we had a goal disallowed actually in regulation too, so we actually could have probably scored 6. But yeah, great team win. Not the prettiest painting in the world, but hey, we'll take it. Those are games that you look back on in April and say, all right, we're a point up on this team. Remember that game back in January when we came from 3 goals down? These are the type of games that you remember. Big win. We're unbeaten in 7 games. So as the Oilers are kind of going on a run, Condors are going on a run. This is typically the time of year when the Condors just typically go on a run. There's no quantifiable way of saying it, but January and February.
It's Santa.
January and February just feel like the Condors months for some reason. So, yeah, it's a tight Pacific division. I mean, we talked about the Pacific and the NHL. I mean, there's 7 teams right now in the Pacific division that I think wake up today and are kind of looking at it going, hey, we can be division champs. Like not just, hey, let's make the playoffs. Like I think we kind of figured out, what's going on there, but we can really win a division here. Nobody has a stranglehold on it. If you did it out, the Condors games in hand, and if you said that the Condors win 4 of the 5 games in hand that they have basically on everybody in the division, which is kind of what the Condors have been doing lately, the Condors put themselves like 2 points out of the division lead. I know they got to play the games. I know they got to win the games. We also get San Diego. We also get San Jose the next 4 games. Like it's time to make hay, and the Condors are making hay right now. I mean, we've got, 10, 12 out of a possible 14 points. I mean, this is starting to churn here a bit, and things are getting interesting because now the games are starting to even out, And whereas some teams kind of thought, hey, we got a good buffer on the Condors, well, that buffer's kind of going away just through the Condors being able to play some games.
Once again, I love the fact you already take all the talking points that I have ahead of me on the post.
You ask me what color the sky is, I'm going to tell you it's blue, and then I'm going to give you the weather report for the next week.
Let's jump into that and talk about our opponents coming up, because first let's talk about the one coming up on the road this weekend. Unlike a ping pong match where you play one game away, one game at home, both games this weekend are on the road in San Diego, which is the bottom team in the Pacific right now, where it would be nice to take 4 points out of that, right?
Yeah, and that's the message. You have to outwork San Diego, right? The Condors are a better team. There's no denying this. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night. We know this, but you got to go in to San Diego with the mindset of we're going to impose our game plan. We're going to impose our will on the opposition, and we're going to get out of there with a couple of wins, because San Diego hasn't beaten anybody in the Pacific. They've beaten Ontario 3 times, and they're 0-11 against the rest of the division. The reason they're even, and they're not above water, but the reason they're even treading water right now is because they played the Central, and the Central's been terrible, but they had like 5 overtime losses against the Central. And that's the only reason why they're even remotely close. So if you're the Condors, you know that you're the better team. You know you're the more skilled team. You know the more experienced team. You have the better goaltending. You have the better defense. You have the better offense. But if you don't work, if you show up and it's not a business trip, you can find a way to lose these games. So have to find ways to beat San Diego. They're going to be desperate. They always are, because they've been behind the 8 ball here for 3 years now. But you have to go in and take care of business, because everybody else is taking care of business against San Diego. So that's 11 games, 11 losses. That's 11 wins for the other teams in the Pacific against San Diego. If you don't go in and get your 2, well, you've already lost now ground on the other team. So you got to go in and get your wins.
Do you want to pop up a comment? Gabriella, thank you for checking in. Yes, amazing win last night. We talked about that already. Abbotsford, it's one of those games in which you're going to remember from the season, where you kind of just almost checked out already a little bit. You probably saw a few people walking up the aisles, which they're regretting their life decisions in a lot of ways now.
Yeah, they are.
An absolutely great win last night against Abbotsford. Talk about San Diego afterwards. We got 2 other opponents that are hanging out in the bottom part of the Pacific, where you got San Jose with a ping pong match, and then you got Colorado, which is a tough venue to play in. But how is the rest of January looking to you? I know we're going to talk about it next week, but
tough venue there. San Jose is a team that's not going to make the postseason. San Diego is not going to make the postseason. Those are the 2 teams, and then I'm shocked. I'm kind of shocked at Colorado, honestly. I had them easily top 4. And they're struggling. Yeah, and by struggling, I mean they're above 500. But they're right now the 3rd playoff team would be above 500. So 500 can't be the benchmark, because you'd be out of the playoffs. So Colorado, I didn't anticipate being where they were. Their goaltender was hurt for a chunk of the year. That kind of set them back a little bit. But I thought they had more. So that's gonna be a tough place to play. But again, San Jose, you go in next week, and not to look too far ahead, but these are games you need. Tucson just lost to them last night in San Jose. You can gain ground on Tucson simply by beating San Jose, which you should do. So, I'm not saying you're going to win all these games against San Jose. The Condors got 3 out of 4 points last week, but you got to collect as many points against San Diego and San Jose as possible. There's 24 possible points against San Jose and San Diego. You need 20 of them. You need 18 of them. You need to make sure that you're getting as many points against them, because everybody else is going to get points against them. So you can't lose ground.
Let's talk about the weekend games coming up before our next broadcast, where we do the Condors Connection here, which is in San Diego. So no local games going on this weekend. But, of course, people want to check it out. If people it's nice to have a road trip down to San Diego. It's a nice town.
It's our only one. It's basically our closest opponent, and it's our only road trip to San Diego. It's incredible how weird.
So if people cannot make the road trip down there, what do people need to do?
AHL TV, we'll get you going. Is that a 6:00 Saturday game? Oh, perfect. This is great. Saturday, Friday at 7, Saturday at 6. You get all my coverage of me eating in Little Italy all weekend, because I'm going to put a feed bag on.
Well, we'll talk about what you hit up, all the food restaurants, and of course, let's do a little preview. Anyone wants to go down to San Diego and watch the game in person, where do they need to eat?
Yeah, you can. I think they're Ticketmaster building, but head to SanDiegoGulls.com. They'll have tickets there.
I'm talking the restaurant. I'm talking the restaurant.
Oh, the restaurant. Oh, where to
Yeah.
go?
Yeah.
Oh,
If people are going down there, they're going to join you and like stare at you in the rafters. Where do they need to eat first?
I like barley mash. Whiskey Girl down there is pretty good too. They get some good food. There's an Irish pub. It might even be British. It might be Irish. It's called The Field. It's kind of near Petco. I like going there. I like going Bubs at the ballpark. I mean, you can't go wrong in the Gas Lamp. You really can't. But Little Italy's sneaky, like really good. Like I forget the name of the spot. I just kind of walk, and when I smell the pizza, I know where I'm home. But yeah, they've got some great pregame pasta. That's usually where I go, and we stay down there now in the Gas Lamp. So it makes life a lot easier on people who like to get out a little bit.
And of course, Ryan's going to bring me home his doggy bag.
Yes, I don't think there's going to be much.
Okay, so I'm going to get your scraps, but I'm okay with that.
I was taught one thing as a kid: if it goes on your plate, it goes in your belly, and that's it. Like I don't go for second plates. That's a weird OCD thing of mine. I don't do seconds. I just do one plate. If it's not on the plate, I'm not eating it.
Fair enough. Ryan Holt for the Bakersfield Condors. You can check him out on the broadcast once again. AHL TV does this weekend, and of course, you're gonna watch all the action right there. And looking forward to the San Diego game or the San Jose game. Lots of great things going on in January, although a lot of them are out of town. But we'll see what happens. But once again, we'll get you caught up every single week right here with your Energy Condors Connection. Hopefully next week we'll be back on Tuesday. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Next Tuesday, 10 a.m., we'll catch you once again with all things CondorsTown. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. The other side of the split screen is Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. Appreciate you as always, my friend.
Thank you.
Catch you next time with another edition of your Energy Condors Connection right here with Energy 95.3. Later!